So the biggest one for me was the fear of failure. And at the time, I only had one child. So it was more like, what happens to my child's future? Let me not be selfish. It was a very, very risky thing that we did, honestly.
Hi everyone, Yaku Maritz from How We Made It in Africa here. You'll see that I'm not in my usual studio. I'm actually in a hotel room in Kigali, Rwanda, where I've been the past week. How We Made It in Africa recently did a fascinating interview with an entrepreneur called Chilufya Mutale, who is the co-founder of eShandi, a Zambia-based fintech company that extends loans to small businesses and low-income consumers. Since starting the business, Mutale has overseen the disbursement of over 11 million US dollars in loans, and the company has also expanded to countries such as Zimbabwe, South Africa, and Kenya. But her journey to starting the company was fraught with uncertainty and doubt. I'm going to play you a clip from the interview now where she talks about how she wrestled with the decision to leave a corporate job and also struggled with the fear of failure. But before we get to that, those who want to listen to the full interview, or rather watch the full interview, there's a link in the description, and that will take you to the How We Made It in Africa website. So our full interviews are only available on our website, not on YouTube. And for those who want to access the thousands of interviews How We Made It in Africa has done over the years with entrepreneurs and investors in Africa, I encourage you to please become a How We Made It in Africa member, which will give you full access to our website. And for our YouTube watchers, there's a special 15% membership discount with a voucher code that you can also see in the description. And then lastly, before we get to the clip, those interested in starting their own small-scale chicken farming ventures in Africa can now easily do so. How We Made It in Africa has partnered with South Africa-based Kiki Agri, and the company manufactures chicken houses which are very easy to assemble and require no tools. You can basically get your farming operation up and running within a few hours, and the system typically pays for itself within less than a year. You can both farm chickens for meat as well as for eggs. They've got different products for each one of those. For more information on that, you can also check the link in the description. I think it's a very exciting opportunity. But enough with that. Let's watch the clip from the interview with Chilufya Mutale.
Before you started the business, were you nervous? Was it a scary decision, or did you go into it with lots of confidence?
While I was working, honestly, I struggled for close to a year just to see if I can make that decision. And it was a really strong urge to really take it up. And it was by a leap of faith, honestly. I was very, very scared, very nervous for the basic fact. You know, when you move away from a job where you get paid every month, you're losing job security. And so, you know, that security is significant because it covers all your expenses. You are able to easily make your plans. You forecasted, you know, what you want to do and where you want to be. But then when you're doing things on your own, that security is completely gone. So it's like you're putting all your eggs in one basket. So we thought of maybe can I do a hybrid where I continue working and then I start my business, but that couldn't work, you know, and especially because it's in the same competing field, you have to really drop one and move with one full time. And then also there was little to no support, I would say, because this is not something anyone encouraged me to do. Everybody discouraged me to do this because one, the issue of job security loss, and then also the fear of failure. Personally, for me, the greatest one was the fear of failure. In terms of, yes, you've done it well for other businesses, for Finca, for Express Credit, but then this is your own money. Where are you going to get that money? You know, with Express Credit, these are the investors are well capitalized. You know, they built big, massive businesses in Europe, and then they're testing the waters in Africa. So they have a lot of capital. Finca is an international institution that has been operating for over 25 years, and it's present in over 10 markets across the world. And then here you are, first-time entrepreneur. Like, what are you thinking? Where do you think you'll get the money? Who's even going to support you on this? You don't have, friends and family that will back you and say, oh, we'll give you this money. And for banks, we all know that, it takes time. You need to build traction, at least 3 to 5 years working history. And then they see that traction. And then you also still, despite, being operating for 3 to 5 years, you need to have collateral to provide. So how do I build this? How am I going to do this? So the biggest one for me was the fear of failure. Nobody likes to fail. And then, you put all your eggs in one basket, put all your savings in this, and then it doesn't work. And then what happens after? So there's also the fear of rejection, the fear of loss, And at the time, I only had one child. So it was more like, what happens to my child's future? Let me not be selfish. With a job, you are covered. So those were the three things that really triggered, the fear of loss, fear of failure. And also, there wasn't just that support or, that environment where you see people that have done it before. In my market, that wasn't there. So I didn't have anyone I could look up to say, well, that person did it, or, this person did it, or this founder did it, that I can do it. But I didn't have that history of, success stories before me to show me that it actually is possible. So it was difficult to even find a mentor or someone to guide me through it. So we went into the deep end without knowing how to swim in the deep end. That's how it was for us.
Okay, so when you decided, okay, I'm going to start this company now, what were the next steps? Maybe let's start with, because today the company offers various financial services, but as I understand, lending is still a major part. And in the beginning, I think you only started with lending money to people. But to lend money to people, you need money. So where did you get that money in the beginning to lend out to people?
So I used my own benefits from my last employment. And then also my husband joined me and partnered with me. So we basically put all our monies together, all our savings together. And throughout the first year of our business, we basically used our own funds to grow our business. We also sold our own property. My husband and I sold our house. And then we also sold our cars, all our cars. We're basically using public transport going forward. We didn't have any vehicle. And we basically put everything. We just went all in. It was a very, very risky thing that we did, honestly. But today we may not regret it, but it was, someone may say that was like a really stupid move. Like, how do you just put everything, in something that's unknown? Like, you can reserve, or one of your, your husband can do this while you do this. But we all went in, all of us, both of us, sorry.